What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles, welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. A few more days left in June. I decided to call an audible Omaha and do one more edition of Yojo June before we wrap things up and start looking forward to this big reveal of the HasLab later on in July, San Diego Comic-Con. Very excited about that. But first, as the great Julie Chinbot would say, got some news from Skybound Entertainment that has me very excited. I've been waiting this announcement since the reveal of Duke #1 and Cobra Commander #1. Of course, I am talking about G.I. Joe from Skybound, written by Joshua Williamson, drawn by Tom Riley, and colored by Jordi Belair. Great creative team that did Duke #1. We're getting them as the creative force of G.I. Joe, and I cannot express how excited I am about that. And you can see the mix of characters, some of which are very familiar. You may note the omission of some characters that you would come to expect from G.I. Joe. Where's Snake Eyes? Where's Scarlet? Where's Flint and Lady J? Stay tuned. This team that we've got right now is pretty exciting, and I cannot wait to see more, learn more about everyone in the mix with this. This, of course, is part of the larger Energon Universe banner, and we've seen Energon Universe Special #1 that debuted at Free Comic Book Day back in May. So you can see the Transformers. You can see the main characters of Void Rivals. You can also see a slew of G.I. Joes and Cobras, including one Hardmaster in the red gi there flying off at us. Maybe he's our ninja representation so far in this G.I. Joe universe. But if you're going to get into it, I highly recommend starting from the beginning. Fortunately, it hasn't gone on too long where it's like, oh my gosh, it's so many years of continuity to keep up with. No problem, no issues. The trades are very affordable. Very affordable. Let's say that 2 times fast. But I think they're definitely a way that you can get them quickly and get the whole gist of the story. If you're going to do so, you got to start off with Void Rivals #1, more than meets the eye. That catchphrase, that tagline is not by accident and definitely tells you the story of some really cool characters, Derek and Solia. And you might not think, what is this? But Robert Kirkman behind Invincible, The Walking Dead fame, he's the writer for this one. And the art by Lorenzo De Felici is outstanding. Great colors as well. It's such a fun book, and you definitely want to get into it. This is the start. This is where everything comes together for the Energon universe, going to Transformers, going to Duke and Cobra Commander. Might seem like, oh, I got to do that first because this is what I'm familiar with. Start with Void Rivals. It's the way to go, and it's a really fun read. You don't want to skip past this just to get to the stuff you know. Then you want to head on over to Transformers Volume 1, Robots in Disguise. And these taglines do kind of complement each other. So that's another thing. You can see the price, $15.29. That's the first 6 issues. Trust me, you are going to love this one. Daniel Warren Johnson, the force behind Do a Powerbomb, one of my favorite books. I think that was just last year, but it was amazing. Definitely check this out. And issue 2 is where it all comes together here in terms of linking the books. Then you're going to go to this one, Duke #1 or Duke Volume 1, knowing it's half the battle. This is where it sets up the whole conflict and ties in Transformers, ties in G.I. Joe, and how it all comes together and how it makes sense. Then there's one more connective thread. It starts off with Cobra Commander Volume 1, determined to rule the world. Williamson's the writer for this one, teaming with Andrea Milana. Awesome, creepy story, including some things we just saw revealed for San Diego Comic-Con. And this is where that all comes together. And I love reading comic books, and I think they are so essential to us getting great movies and figures. So bring them on. Definitely check these 4 titles out because I totally cannot recommend them enough. Some really strong, it's a really strong shared universe, and everything's tying in together. It's all connected, and it makes so much sense. And it's such a great way to bring these 3 distinct universes all together into one deal. And it's like exciting to see how this is going to come together. Anyway, so we've got that. And for me, all this G.I. Joe fun started when I spoke with this guy, the man himself, Joshua Williamson. And we talked, and I really could have talked to him for so much longer. I could have talked to him for 2 hours about how much fun G.I. Joe is. And we agreed it's amazing, it's awesome. We both talked about, hey, G.I. Joe the movie gets a little bit of disrespect because of Cobra la 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 la, but it's a lot of fun and it's really cool. And one thing that was very fun to me during this discussion was seeing that, hey, Joshua Williamson is also a huge fan of G.I. Joe Classified series. He spoke like, hey, I gotta resist the urge to work in some of these characters that I'm buying figures of into the book too soon, like Wolf Spider. And I was like, yes, Wolf Spider looks cool. I don't think necessarily all the parts came together well, but he seems like he'd be a really fun addition to work into the series. And because of that, I think you can definitely see that influence of classified series into the Duke and Cobra Commander, at least for the visuals. So here's some looks at some of the panels from Duke #1 and Cobra Commander, or Duke, not just issue 1, the whole deal. And Cobra Commander, here's Scrap Iron. You see him with his drone setup, and it's basically that same figure right down to the burn face on the left side. So they've included that. Tom Riley put that in, and that's really cool. Just seeing there's some real synergy between the comic books and the figures, kind of like how it was back in the day. And instead, this time, we're seeing the cartoons be replaced by really awesome comic books. Here's another shot, and you can definitely see this is 100% the classified series Stalker. And he's got and I think it's not actually called a scarf, but he's got that. He's got his sleeves rolled up a little bit, rock and roll. He has the helmet, straight up classified series design. He's got the tattoos. He's even making the rock on expression with his hands. You can see here it's got the whole detail, all those tattoos. He's got the two-tone deal going, the knee pads. Absolutely 100% the classified series looks for both of these guys, and that's really fun to see that incorporated into the comic book. But wait, there's more. You can see here he's not in his full outfit, but Hawk has his gray stripe running through the top, just like the classified series figure. He's not rocking his cool leather jacket. He's in real dress jeans, dress attire, but he's got the hair sculpt or hair done just like the figure. You can also see here Stalker, better look at him, rocking the full look right down to the machete in hand as well. And then we've got some more, the Dreadnoks. And you can see Ripper's got his gold spiked armband. He's got the tattoos. He's got the razor blades, dog tags, buzzers, got his star. Just in case you're not quite sure how well the synergy is between the two, here's Buzzer, classified. Hopefully you can see the star showing up. There you go, right on camera. So we're getting these looks exactly like they appear in the classified series line. And I'm not sure about you all, but there's just something fun about seeing something that you have in figure form reflected in other mediums. Like, yeah, kind of validates it in a certain extent. I know we don't need that, but it's really cool to be able to read a great comic book like Duke and Cobra Commander. We got Destro and Scarlet right now dropping, and seeing those same looks reflected from the figures that I collect. So that's really fun, really cool. I dig that the most. It's really awesome. Now, that being said, we got some interesting looks here in this classified in G.I. Joe issue 1. And maybe Hasbro's going, well, we know the team is reading them. They keep endorsing these books from the Energon universe as well. Maybe we could see some of these comic book looks reflected with our G.I. Joe Classified series. That kind of leads me to some speculation. Maybe we'll start seeing these looks reflected. So we got Cover Girl. I think a lot of us agree she could use an upgrade. Maybe we'd see her in this look. Duke is pretty much the same classic look, but you can see there's definitely a team focused look here. Everybody's got the blue stars. I assume Stalker has it on his right shoulder as well. We see Cover Girl, Duke, Clutch. Gotta assume Rock and Roll and Stalker have that on the right shoulder as well. You see Baroness, she doesn't have the same outfit, but she does have the blue star. Will we want to see these looks reflected in the classified series? I think Baroness as a G.I. Joe would make for a really fun alternate universe kind of whatever look for. And I think this is a fun design. And I think that would work really well also. Maybe getting Duke from this. Duke's a character, we got that definitive real American hero look in the retro style, but I wouldn't be upset getting a comic book version that looks like this. Clutch, pretty classic, not a lot of change. And rock and roll, we've already got this guy. All he basically needs is the headset. But there's the introduction of an all new Joe. I assume that's this guy with a shotgun. Kind of looks like a sheriff. Not quite Wild Bill, but he definitely has a different, unique look to him as well. Maybe a character I'd like to see in a figure form. This Cobra sniper, she certainly looks interesting. Big sniper rifle, definitely whoa, who's this? Got the fishnets going up all the way up into her back. Definitely a cool look. She's got the night vision goggles as well. Then we've got this really sweet look for Destro, a little bit more emphasis on the metal. So we've got this. Let me lose me here so y'all can see in full. You can see he's got the wrist rockets. You got to have that in any Destro figure. But I like the little shelled armor, the layered armor piece, and the big metallic shoulder setup here. That's cool. Big flared up red collar. He's got the chest showing. Want to see that, the medallion. I kind of like this look. And this was one of the first ones that my eyes just kind of gravitated towards, like, ooh, I wonder how that would look as a figure. Cobra Commander, we've already got the definitive version of him as we've seen with the retro one with the vac metal faceplate. So he is covered. I'm ready for that figure, but I don't think I would be upset getting this version either. Pretty much what we want to see with our Cobra Commander. He's got the red, he's got a lot of blues, got the holster right there on the side, the high boots, high gloves. And I think there's enough different elements that would make for a really fun figure as well. Maybe even give him some energon. We've already seen this shown up from G.I. Joe already. Let me pop this up real fast with our G.I. Joe classified mole rat figures. So it's not a thing of, oh, well, we just can't interject this stuff into our pure G.I. Joe line. Yeah, we got to have some distinction between these two brands. That's not true. Got that already. So as I pop up this guy, the mole rat, with all this energon lurking in the background, give Cobra Commander some of that as well, because clearly there's an interest. There's a G.I. Joe Transformers crossover movie supposedly in the works. Maybe this will help motivate them to move forward with it and get it out to us a little bit faster. But here's some other looks that I think would make for pretty interesting and fun figures. You see Scrap Iron, I don't necessarily need to have him redone into the line. The one we have is really great. Mercer, though, woo-hoo, that's a sweet outfit. He's got the Cobra blue and red, not as much Mars red and black as we've seen with some other characters, but he looks really imposing and big and tough. I dig that. And in this new era of G.I. Joe in the comic books, some of these team members are a little bit differently allocated than we would originally think who they'd be partnered up with. In the old series, Mercer was the lone Cobra defector. He was a Viper, as we know, and you can see a little bit of traces of that old Viper design with that ribbed siding on his, I'm assuming both sides, the paneling here. So we got a little bit of that Viper outfit anyway, but I would love to see Mercer as like a Sergeant Slaughter size character just to hang with the comic book designs. And speaking of the comic book designs, man, I really, really, really dig Tomax and Zaymon here. I love how they've incorporated a little bit more red. You see their shoulder pads don't have that metallic element to them anymore. It's more like a red drape. I dig that. You got the side holsters there for their guns and a little bit more of that shelled red going, the ribbed shelled area. I dig this. So it's like a slight twist on those great real American hero designs, but they're different enough that it's kind of like, yeah, let's do that. Let's turn this into new figures. I mean, we've already got the versions that I wanted, but I can definitely see myself buying these these takes on these figures because I said the comic book has been awesome, and yeah, I'm down for it. We've got bats, and you can see Riley incorporated different attachments here, but they have a little glowing purple center to convey that they're being fueled by Energon. So Energon bats might be a variant I'd be into as well. Maybe they can give them some attachments for their boot exhaust. So to make it like a Cobra flying force, that'd be fun. And here's a little bit better look at this Western style Joe, the shotgun, head shaved to the sides real tight. And he definitely looks like he might be South Asian, maybe. I don't think he's a black guy. Stalker's colors. I think Jordy doesn't mess around, so there's no like, oh, who's this? I think there's a real clear Stalker's black. This character is not. But yeah, I like this different look for him. He's got enough to him with the vest and this cool belt. Kind of looks like Flint, but I know that's not Flint for reasons I won't spoil. But for sure, I want to get this Baroness. She looks cool. And I don't know if you've noticed in the background here, there's a big honking robot wearing Autobots and Decepticon sigils or logos destroyed underneath the Joes and Cobras. So, you know, they're going to be incorporated in that as well. But I really think there's some strong possibilities that Hasbro goes, all right, you scratched our back with these first round of miniseries. Let's return the favor. Let's do some of these comic book designs as classified series figures. And so many of them have already had excellent classified series versions that I don't think it would be a big problem to see those looks done in figure form. You got to refresh the Crimson Twins, Cobra Commander, Destro, Dukes, Baroness, Stalker all the time. And I know there's some versions of these characters that y'all probably want to see. Hooded Cobra Commander, maybe that black attire for him. Destro certainly is his Iron Grenadier look. Stalker as a Tundra Ranger. Baroness just as a better figure with double jointed elbows. Maybe just a repaint of that Crimson Strike Force Baroness that we've seen now on Outlet. I think Clutch, Rock and Roller Straight. They're really good figures. The Bat solid. Maybe I'll just use some purple paint on my bats. But Duke, of course, always needs a new figure, and Cover Girl needs a better one. So there's some options. There's some potential of the Joes we've seen. These guys look good. And what do you think? They could crank out a 4 or 5 figure wave pretty easily with these guys. Let's say Destro, Cobra Commander, this mysterious Cobra Sniper, Baroness, and Duke, or this guy. And then we got another wave with the Crimson Twins, Mercer, and CoverGirl. So there's all kinds of fun with this. I'm really excited, of course, as you might have guessed, talking about this comic book and the potential for more classified series, breaking up the looks from the real American hero designs. I know in the last video, some folk mentioned maybe getting those Sigma 6 looks. I'd be down for that. But I kind of like the idea that a comic book is now providing new designs as opposed to using what we've gotten already in the classified series to provide more ammunition, if you will, of potential looks down the road that we can see coming forward in the classified series line. So, what do you guys think of these looks? What do you think about these designs being translated into figure form? I know some of you were like, this line's getting a little bit boring. They're just doing the real American hero designs. I like that they were taking chances doing something fresh and original with that first few waves. So I want to see some different stuff. This is definitely different stuff, but you can see the characters without having to go, is this supposed to be Cobra Commander? Is that really Destro? No, it's clear and it's very obvious. So I'd like to see who we could get out of this line. Who would you guys like to see? Maybe the first 2 or 3? And would you be down? Would you be interested in buying these looks in classified series form? All right. Thank you so much, as always, for watching and sticking with me through to the end. If you would be so kind as to like, comment, and share, I would appreciate it. Anyway, I hope you have an awesome weekend. Thank you, as always, for watching. This episode of Lyle's Figure Files has been filed.